Hi guys, this is Wave 618. It's the 16th of April 2018 and it's currently around 10 to 8 in the evening BST. Alright, so we've got Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart here. Now, before I start, I'm just going to mention a few things about what's going to be discussed in this video. So really you can see this video as a kind of an add-on to my video yesterday. If you watched my video yesterday, you'll know that we were mainly looking at the macroscopic picture and we didn't really zoom in on the shorter time frame. So that's what we're going to look at in this video, the shorter time frame. On top of that, as you will be aware, in my last video I did talk about initiating an investment in altcoins. So for that reason, I'm going to discuss position sizing based on probability. Yeah, because at the moment we're in a indecision phase within Bitcoin. You know, it could go up, could go down, and I discussed the possible bullish argument in my last video, and that's why I'm going to discuss position sizing based on how sure you are of the price direction. On top of that, I'm just going to touch on objective analysis as well. That's basically technical analysis that isn't biased in any way. So there were a few people that were slightly unsure about how I can have a bullish outlook or even look for any potential bullish move when I've been talking about a move down to 3,000 for the last few weeks or so. So I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to talk about objective analysis and how in technical analysis it's a fluid game and we have to adapt our opinions based on the information that we're getting in real time. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that in this video. So first of all, so as I've been discussing over recent weeks, we've been talking about this W, X, and then Y has fallen short of where I expected. I expected it to come down to 4,300 roughly. Reason being is 4,300 is a 78.6 retracement of the whole move up to $20,000. And as I mentioned in previous videos, Bitcoin usually, when it makes 5 waves up, makes a retracement of at least 78.6%. Now, I was looking at this WXY, and because it fell short, naturally I was trying to investigate why this might happen. And when investigating, you have to think about the possible bullish outcome. And for that reason, I was exploring the potential bullish outcome, and I came up with a scenario that could explain how it could be bullish. So just removing this WXY a moment, I explained a pattern that isn't very familiar with many traders, and it's called a neutral triangle. I won't go into it in detail in this video. I did discuss it in some depth in my last video, but essentially you get an A, B, and then the C wave is actually the longest wave, which is very unusual for a triangle. Yeah, typically we get contracting triangles where each wave is getting shorter. In this case, C wave all of a sudden becomes longer, and then you get a wave D, and then you get an E, and then price breaks out. And I discussed how we saw that pattern occurring here in A, B, C, D, E, and again here A, B, C, D, E, which explains why the move up starts with this three-legged move and then a three legs down. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it in too much depth now. I explained it quite thoroughly in my last video, but this was a potential explanation and could explain why you did see this rather aggressive candle here going up. That said, it's just something to think about. It's food for thought. It's not saying that Bitcoin is now definitely going up. The reason I mentioned about going into altcoins now is the fact that, first of all, we have to realize that the big trade that is developing is the bullish trade. Whether it's from $3,000 or whether it's from $6,000, it doesn't matter. The big trade that we're waiting to get in on is the trend upwards, yeah, not downwards. This trade downwards now is just because we're impatient. We want to make some money before the big move, which is up. Yeah, so we certainly don't want to miss that move up, and the altcoins move very aggressively, so they don't wait around, they pop quickly. And for me, I'm going to be looking to invest in altcoins more so than Bitcoin when trading the upward trend. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to focus on Digibyte as the altcoin of choice for discussion in this video. So let's just go on the daily chart here. Right, what we're looking at here is, I see this as a major wave 1. It's retraced to make a wave 2, and then we've made a wave 1, 2 of a major wave 3, which is going to come up to around here. Then we see a 4 and a 5 coming up even higher. So I'm not going to do any price projections for Digibyte right now, but I'm just going to plot a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern to look at just to put things in perspective, yeah? So, well, let's say wave 3 typically a 1.618 extension, but we know with altcoins they go much higher than 1.618, often to the 4.23. But just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to draw 5 waves up. Nothing to scale here. But what I'm saying is, what we're looking for is the possibility of Bitcoin going down further, yeah, which means Digibyte potentially may come down a little bit further, yeah. But already Digibyte has in fact retraced 78.6%. I'll zoom in and show you that clearly in a moment, but it's not going to retrace much further. So even if there's only a 10% probability of a bullish outcome for Bitcoin over the next few weeks, that 10% shouldn't really be ignored, because look at the upside. The upside is from here to here, and the downside is microscopic in comparison. So does it make sense to be greedy and wait for price to come down, hoping that it will come down at some nice cheap levels so that you can perhaps, you know, make a few, not a few extra gains, it's going to be considerable gains if it does come down a bit lower. You could potentially double your money, but at the same time it could come up to here by the time you realize it's popping, yeah? So that's the risk you face. So what I'm saying is to start developing an investment into the altcoins. That's what I'm looking at. So I would suggest, well, what I'll be doing is probably going in at least 10% of my portfolio at present. Yeah. So I'm not talking about going all in at this stage. That's certainly not what I'm saying. As I say, the market is still in an indecision phase. Before we come off Digibyte, let me just show you. Let's go on the 4-hourly. So it has retraced. Here's the bottom here. There's the top. And it's hit the 78.6% fib, pretty much bang on. Found really nice support, formed an accumulation phase, and has since gone up. Now, certainly, I'm not saying it can't come down lower. As Bitcoin makes potentially another 3 legs down, you may see Digibyte coming down like this with a A, B, C. Could come down a bit lower. Alternatively, it could hit this line and find further support and just go sideways. What I'm saying is, investing in these altcoins right now, you're not, even if they come down, it's not a big deal, because look, the upside is absolutely huge. And potentially, I don't really want to risk the altcoins getting to here before realizing that they're going up. Yeah. So that's the argument for going into altcoins, even if the bearish outcome in Bitcoin is more likely. So just let's go back to Bitcoin now. Okay, so back on our 4-hourly chart. So this is a little bit about position sizing based on probability. As I say, right now there is the possibility of a bullish outcome, and for that reason, I am starting my investment into altcoins. As I say, looking at about 10%. When this line breaks, this is the log line. So on our log chart, this line connects the highs. It's a significant trend line. If this breaks, I'm clearly going to increase my investment in the altcoins a lot higher than 10%, probably to at least 30 or 40%, because even if it breaks this line, it can still be bearish. As I've mentioned in previous videos, if we call this W, X, Y, we can argue that X has not finished yet, and it's actually going to finish here, and the X wave in itself will be an A, B, C, like so, yeah, making a regular flat. So it could come up to the 11,500 level, finding resistance at these highs once again, and come down. And then if it goes past this, that's when I'd go even further into the altcoins, increasing much higher, because if it goes past 11,500, I would struggle to see a bearish outcome, in which case I'd be looking to go almost all in the altcoins. So this is the idea about investing. You want to build up your portfolio gradually based on the probability of the move, and as I say, right now it's probably worth about 10%. That's the way I'm looking at it. So let's just clear that just a moment. Now, so that's just, as I say, a little bit about position sizing based on probability. So the shorter time frame now, I said that we would have a look at this. Now, what we've seen here, as I say, I was concerned about the blunting of this Y wave, but potentially, actually, what I'll do, I'll put the WXY label on just so we're clear when we're explaining here. So that's WXY. Yeah. So we've got 3 legs down, 3 legs up, and a further 3 legs down, making a WXY. Now, as you can see here, what happened is from the top, we went all the way down for the W, and the X wave was approximately a 38.2 retracement of the preceding 3 legs down. Likewise here, we are at a 38.2 retracement of this Y wave, making a 3 legs down. Yeah, so it's hit 38.2, pretty much bang on. Another reason for resistance at this level, if we plot a horizontal line at this level, we can see it has been tested a few times. So let's just bring it down slightly. So you can see price consolidated a little bit here. It was tested there. Here you can see it's acting as good resistance here, and some, well, not very good support there. To be sorry, support here, not very good resistance there, but acted as a support here. So it's been tested a few times, that horizontal line. It's retraced 38.2 of this move down. And then we're going to zoom in now to show some other reasons for resistance at that level. So let's just remove that line. So let's just zoom in. Let's have a look on the hourly first of all. Alright, so what I was really expecting is, I was looking at this as a triangle, as being an A, B, C, D, E. And then I was looking for it to break down to the downside. This didn't happen. I was looking for new lows to develop below this 6,000 level where W finished, but it just didn't happen. And this is why I started to question the move down. It was, you know, a very weak market was suddenly showing some support. So yeah, I was looking at this potentially being a break to the downside, but it didn't happen. So what we can see now is, first of all, this, I don't think it's an A, B, C, because this doesn't look like 5 waves up. I wouldn't call that A. You could call it a W, X, Y, in which case W is 3 legs up, X is a triangle, so A, B, C, D, E, and then we need another 3 legs up, which you can argue have finished. So, for example, if this is a WXY, we can see that's W, X is a triangle that finishes there, and Y is coming to approximately the 1.618. So that's one way of looking at it. And if this is a Y wave, then it's 3 legs up, so that's 1, 2, 3, and there is a Fibonacci relationship there where got that wave there, retrace it, it's a 0.618 extension of the initial move up. So you could argue it's going to come down from here, but as I say, it doesn't look like it's looking to come down particularly quickly. So, as I say, it's very difficult to say at the moment. The market is really in a indecision phase. I've spoken about how I expect us to test this line, this logarithmic line, if we just go on the 4-hourly charts. Let's expand this. So I do expect us to test this line. We're ever so close to it, to be honest. And yeah, it's around the 8,700 level. Between 8,500 and 8,700, I expect it to get tested. Now, it's a good short when it gets this level, and despite the fact that I would be long altcoins as an investment, that doesn't mean you can't sub-trade and still make shorts in other markets such as Bitcoin. So, for example, as I say, I'm invested around 10% in altcoins right now, but that doesn't stop me from shorting Bitcoin when it gets to this level. That investment in the altcoins is going to be held for months stroke years, and I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, it's looking at the bullish move, whilst Bitcoin I'm still looking to trade on the short term basis. So when it hits this line, it's a good short. Some people could argue it's a good short now, as it's 38.2 retracement from here to here, and we've also got that extension, that fib extension with A, B, C, or WXY rather, WXY coming up to here. So that's just another way of looking at it. It could potentially start coming down from here, but I do expect it to get sucked into this line, at least test that line. And yeah, over the next few days, few weeks, we will see, we'll have answers to this. Now, so basically we want to know, is this impulsive or is it corrective? That's what we really want to know right now. So if it's impulsive, we're looking at this being, well, this can't be the start of the impulse because it's only 3 legs up. Let's zoom in because it's not very clear here. It's only 3 legs up, so that can't be impulsive, but there is an argument that this move down was a 1, 2, 3 finishing here, and this was a wave 4, and this was a failed wave 5. Yeah, in which case the impulse started here, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 3, 4, and then 5 is an ending diagonal up to here. Then we saw a wave 2, and then this has been a wave 3, in which case we're just in a wave 4, and we're going to go higher. But obviously a wave 4 cannot overlap with wave 1, which would be here. So just labeling this so it's a little more clear. So if that's a wave 1, 2, 3, wave 4 can't come past wave 1. So if it does come lower than here, then we know this is not impulsive. Yeah. So this 7,000 level is significant. Yeah. If price comes below 7,000, then it's suddenly looking a lot more bearish. However, if it just retraces, typically a wave 4 will retrace 38.2% of the wave 3. So it's come down to around the 23.6 so far. If it comes down to 7,700 or potentially 7,500, it could certainly test this 50% retracement. A wave 4 can come down to the 50% quite typically, but more commonly the 38.2. But as I say, it wouldn't be breaking any Elliott wave rules if it came down to 7,200 level, because it wouldn't be overlapping wave 1. However, until it comes down lower than 7,500, we still have to look for it being impulsive, potentially up to this log line. And then it's a good short, because even if it's bullish, it's going to come down before going higher, or it could just start coming down, 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 down. And the way it would do that is in a WXYXZ fashion. So if we just remove that, remove our WXY moment, and we just put a WXYXZ. So that's WXYX, and then Z wherever, let's say 3,000. But it doesn't look like it's going to come down quite so low. As I say, 4,300 was a 78.6 fib. So it could come down to there still. There still is a bearish argument for this. As I say, the bullish argument is just something I wanted to mention because we don't want to miss out on any potential altcoin pop. Yeah, this is the big move we're waiting for, and because of that small risk of it being bullish now, that's why I feel that it's worth starting an investment in altcoins as an investment and not a trade. Yeah, there's a very important difference there. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is objective analysis. So there was a bit of frustration from a couple of people. There's a handful of people, 99% of you were very appreciative of my objective and honest analysis about the potential bullish outcome. A lot of traders won't discuss scenarios that are contrary to what they've been discussing in previous videos. However, if I feel that my primary count is breaking down, I'll be the first to admit it. And that's what technical analysis is all about. You're guessing based on probability of what you think is going to happen, but you have to accept that if things aren't looking like that primary count is working out, you have to entertain the other options. And that's what I do. That's what my channel is going to be all about. It's going to be about me giving my objective analysis based on real-time data. So as new information comes in, you can expect new analysis. And yeah, I wanted to talk about this bullish outcome because I don't want to see altcoins or Bitcoin going above this line and me not having time to post a video and you wondering what's going to go on next. So I feel like it's good for you to know the bullish scenario in case it happens, even if it is only, let's say, a 20% probability. It's still important to know because it's the 20% probability of the big trade of the century. Yeah, this is going to be the trade of the century. The move up is going to be huge. Blockchain technology is massive. It's going to be revolutionary, in my opinion, and it's not a trade to miss out on. So even if there is a small probability of it going up, it's worth being aware of. And that's why I think it warrants a 10% investment, I say right now. Other people may differ, they may say even higher. Other people will say, no, I don't want to invest anything in altcoins now. Bitcoin is definitely coming down. It's going to bring altcoins with it. If you can say 100% that that's going to happen, then fair enough. But in my opinion, nothing is 100%, especially in technical analysis. The only people who can be 100% are Wall Street. They're the ones who can say which way price is going. We have to admit that we are retail traders and we are trying to follow the smart money using the indicators on the chart. So for that reason, I think it's worth thinking about developing a investment in altcoins. All right, I'm not going to ramble on now. I think I've covered the most key points in this video. So we've got some key things to look out for over the next few days. I'm looking at price to test this level. When it tests it, it's a good short in Bitcoin. However, if it breaks, as you know, I'm going to be building up my altcoin portfolio. If it breaks, and the next key resistance will be at 11,500, as I mentioned earlier, because the X wave could potentially not have finished yet. And then if it breaks 11,500, then I'm going to be looking to be very bullish at that level. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that answers a few queries that you had about my last video. And yeah, interesting times ahead. So if you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. And I will try and get some videos about some altcoins very soon, because obviously that's where, well, certainly where I'm going to be investing, and I know a lot of you out there are interested in altcoins too. Alright guys, until next time, take care.